Hey everybody, my name's David Fierstein. I'm the owner of Powercall Emergency Sirens. Recently I purchased a Hornblaster Nightmare Edition with the spare tire delete for my 2019 Silverado. You can see it right there. It's the full kit, mostly all assembled. We're still working on the assembly. So the reason for this video is to help you out. The company is great, the product is great, but the installation instructions that come with it need a lot of work. I'm blessed with being very mechanically inclined, and even though I was able to put the majority of it together, I was stumped because the instructions don't really tell you or show you good pictures on what to do. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos to try to help me with the majority of it, and I got the majority of it done, but there's so many different options that you can do on this spare tire delete Hornblaster Nightmare Edition that if you don't call them and talk to them, you won't know exactly what to do. They admitted to me that they do need to work on their instructions, and hopefully they'll do that, but the purpose of my video is to show you some of the tricks that I did and to give you a layout of what I did on my Hornblaster Nightmare Edition with the spare tire delete. And we're going to flip the camera around now. I'll show you exactly what I've got and what I did, and hopefully this will help you out. And then after this video, once we get it installed in the truck, we'll do some videos of how it went in and what kind of modifications or alterations we may have had to do to make this work. So this is the Hornblaster 244 Nightmare Edition with the spare tire delete. So the spare tire delete is meant for big trucks, big pickups, where you take the spare tire and the brackets out. It leaves this big hole, and then basically what you'll do is, if you're familiar with how the spare tire in a truck works, you crank it down with the tool they give you, and there's a big cable, and it basically lowers down the spare tire, and it's got this big ball on the bottom of it. So what you do is you take that ball out, and then the ball will basically fit down either in here, or you can bring it all the way down, and it'll lock itself in here. And then as you wind your spare tire up, for say, this lifts up and it mounts to the bottom of it holds it to the frame, and you can adjust these as well. So what I did is I've got the single tank, because that's all I need, and then I also got the electronic air release, where you can release the air by just a push of a button. And I also got the inflation kit, where I can have compressed air on demand if I want to. So initially, when you get this unit, you're going to take it all out of the box. My recommendation is you take everything out of the box. And when I say take everything out of the box, things come in lots of little boxes like this, little tiny boxes. My recommendation is take every single thing out of the box and look at what you have prior to starting. When I first started cutting one of my tubes, one of the air tubes, I was sitting here with a razor blade trying to cut it, going, what is going on? Well, what they don't tell you in the book is it actually comes with a cutter, and that's in one of those little boxes, and this will cut all of your air tubes that you need to cut perfectly straight. So you want to make sure that you open up all your boxes and lay everything out on a table. That way you know what you've got. Otherwise, you're going to be confused as hell, because the instructions look like this. There's not a lot of pictures. There's a few, but it's really, really vague. So initially, when you get this unit, you're going to take this spare tire bracket, and you're going to turn it like this. You're going to take these come basically the way they are. You unscrew them and you mount them into these 4 holes right here. Now, these are fully adjustable, so you can adjust these. Once you get them in your vehicle, you can adjust them depending on the size of your frame, or if you need to adjust them. Hornblaster said also, if you still need to extend them, because these will extend up, is you can go to Home Depot and you can get a little thread, and you can thread that in there and get a bigger one, because all it is a screw. All it is that right there, which you can go to Home Depot and get a 5/16 screw and make it taller if you need it, or you can alter it. So initially, you're going to put those in and tighten them down really good. You may need to move them once you actually get it in your vehicle, depending on where your frame is, but you've got the capability of doing that later. That's the first step right there. Okay. The second step is you flip this over, and as you can see, you've got 4 different size horns. They're going to basically sit in there. Remember, this will be upside down when you do this. The screw's already there, so you're just going to put it through that hole with a washer and attach it with that washer. And then this will go in here as well, and you attach it with that nut. You screw it down in that washer, and you do that 4 times. They only fit in one way, so you can't mess them up because they only fit one direction. And then once you've got those in there, then you're good with that. So your bracket, these right here, and then you put your horns in and you mount your horns down solid. You tighten them down real good. Don't over tighten them, but you definitely want to tighten them. I used a screw gun and a ratchet to tighten mine. Once you're done with that, one of the bags has these L brackets in it. You've got 4 of them right there. Each one of those is going to be tightened onto the air valve of the horn. Don't tighten them crazy tight, but these will all swivel, okay? Because eventually you're going to cut your line and you're going to run them up here into your quad air thing right there, okay? So you've got those mounted now. Once you're done with that, you want to put your air tank on. Your air tank is very, very easy to go on. If you're just doing the one, I'm sorry, not the air tank, the compressor. If you've just got the one compressor, it's as easy as it gets. You've got these slots right there. It comes with the screws. In one of those little bags that you're going to find, you'll find these little screws. And it's got washers and everything. You want a washer on top, washer on the bottom. Use a Phillips head screwdriver to tighten that one, and then this one. But to get to the one that's all the way down here, you're going to need to basically put your hands inside here with a, kind of finagle it to try to get it in there. You can't get a screw gun down there. There's no room unless you have one of those really, really long extension Phillips head bits that you can put all the way down in there. But you want to screw that down really, really good. And my recommendation is you see how it has these slots here? You want to push it as far forward as possible. You don't want to mount it and push it back. The reason I say that is because this hose is only so long. And if you push it all the way back and then you try to attach it to your tank, if you do that option, it's not going to work. So make sure that your compressor is put all the way forward, screw those down really good, and then just leave these wires hanging. Do not hook up your hose yet. That's going to be something that you do later. So just leave your compressor mounted right there, and you're really good. So once you have finished that, so just to recap, you're doing these, you're doing your horns, your L brackets, you're putting your compressor on, and you're just leaving all the cables loose, okay? So now to your tank. If you're running a single tank like I am, it's confusing as hell. And the reason I say it's confusing as hell, I guess it's not confusing if you're just doing the basic tank and nothing else because you're just going to plug everything up. Now there are a number of videos on YouTube of people installing this, and you got to be careful with what you watch, okay? There is one video, nice guy, great video, but he's doing it all wrong. If you actually looked at his compressor, he's basically got the compressor flipped over so the valves are right there on the compressor, and his drain valve is right there. You can't have a drain valve on top of a compressor. The drain valve has to go in the bottom of the compressor because you're trying to drain your water if that's the issue. So you be careful with what you watch on YouTube because the way they have it mounted, he actually had his relay mounted upside down and his tank mounted upside down. So you just got to be careful what you watch. Take my advice. I've gone through this, okay? So you've got your tank. Your tank has 4 bolts, all right? There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, and one there. It's a little tricky to get, but you basically want to mount your tank in there, okay? And before you mount your tank, you need to make sure that you decide where you're going to put your fittings, okay? Now, in the instructions, as you'll see, I'm going to see if I can find it. In the instructions, you'll see right there a 1/4 inch run T. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know what in the hell a run tee is, okay? And I sat there going, what the hell's a run tee? Okay, you see, I'll see if I have an extra one here. See if I can find it. Here you go. That is what they are calling a run tee. So if you look at the instructions and you're like, what the hell is a run tee? That is a run tee, okay? I've got one in the back of my tank. I got on the phone with tech support the morning after I got this. Super nice guys. They were such an amazing help. Great customer service, but we went over what to do, which helped me tremendously. So I put the run tee right there, okay? So basically, if I don't use that end, I can put the blank that comes in your kit, and I can close that off if I decide to. Now remember, no matter what you put into this tank, you've got to make sure you have thread tape. It comes with thread tape, okay? But my recommendation is go to Home Depot and get some Mega Lock. It's kind of like a plastery kind of, it's better than the tape, trust me. Some of them come with tape on it, but some of them don't. So we put the run tee right there. And what's going to happen is eventually I'm going to take the hose from my air compressor and I'm going to route it around here and I'm going to screw it right into there, which is what will fill my tank. So that's eventually what I'm going to do. You'll see some videos where the guys went to here, but it barely fits. You can barely make it fit when that run tee is in there. So my recommendation is fill your tank right there. Then we put the gauge on the side where the Hornblaster is. Remember to put some of your Mega Lock there. I know it's kind of filthy because I haven't cleaned it up yet, but my gauge is there. So basically when I go to my truck and the horns are facing out, I can look up and I can see this. If you got extra money, you can get the digital gauge and run it to your inside of your truck, but that's kind of overkill in my opinion. So I've got that in there. I've got my gauge right here. I've got my drain valve right there, which is going to come out. So what I bought was the kit that actually makes it so you can hit a button and it'll automatically drain your tank electronically. So when I put that in, I'm going to take this drain valve out, and the valve for the electric drain is going to go in there. So basically, when I hit a button in my truck, it'll automatically drain out of the drain the air out of the tank. If you're not using that option, put your drain right there, and then put your emergency relief right there. So if you're not familiar with what that is, if for some reason the pressure regulator doesn't work and the tank overfills, this is going to automatically open up and blow the air out so it doesn't blow the tank up. Okay, so put that in the left one closest to the horns. Put your drain valve right there. Remember, the drain valve always goes down. You don't want to put your drain valve at the top because gravity doesn't work that way. So again, and if you're using the electric one, then you're going to put the tools for that there. All right, and then what's going to go right here is my addition that I got, which is this guy right here. Let me see if I can find it. So I basically put this end onto the coupling. That's going to go in there, and then I'm going to run this air line somewhere to the bumper of my vehicle. It's going to get hooked to, if I can find it, it's going to get hooked to this, and then eventually I'm going to have an air line to where if I ever want to hook air, if you're familiar with air hoses, I can have compressed air on demand. So if I need to fill a tire, fill a ball, if a tire goes flat, or whatever you might need air for, that's going to be there. So if I ever need air, I just flip on the compressor. I'll be able to plug my air line in. Some people get adapters from Home Depot and they put it right in there because you could buy that from Home Depot. But I recommend putting the air line in and running it somewhere where it's really, really easy, and make sure that it's secure. If you know how to put these in, it's kind of really, really simple. Okay, you see how this piece right here screws out? So if you were to put this behind a piece of plastic and this on the other side of the plastic and you screw them together, it's going to tighten it in, make sure you secure your airline, and then you've got your compressed air. So that's where that is eventually going to go once I run it. So if you buy the additional one, my recommendation is to take that and put it in that piece right there. Okay. Next, which was most confusing, was the relay. Now, when I bought this, it came with two of these. It came with this one and it came with that one. And none of the instructions showed pictures of this relay and said what to do. So I'm sitting there freaking confused out of my head. What the hell are all these for? There's no instructions that tell you that. So I'm here to show you what to do. So eventually they'll fix their instructions, I'm sure. But I hope this video will go crazy and you'll be able to watch this video and know exactly what to do. Again, I've watched so many YouTube videos and learned from them. Hopefully this will help you put this together without having to go through the crazy instructions. So this you want to mount. Now remember, you've got this side and you've got the side with the Hornblaster logo. You do not want to put it here. You want to put it on this side where the tank is, okay? One thing I forgot to mention to you is the back of the compressor has a filter that comes standard, that comes separately. Now again, the instructions don't tell you what this piece is at all, anywhere. I had no freaking idea where it went. I'm like, where does this go? I watched a number of videos and then I kind of just looked around and I realized that it's the air filter. You can either screw it into the back of the compressor, or it comes with a remote mounting, thing you can put in there, and you can mount this somewhere else. You want to mount it out of the way of where it's going to get water in it, because if your filter gets water in it, when you turn your compressor on, you're going to get water inside your compressor. So their recommendation is to mount this somewhere where it's not going to get wet, but it's under the truck. It's going to get wet no matter where it goes. So screw it into the back of your compressor, then put your compressor down. So you need to do this before you mount this compressor down, otherwise you're going to need to pull your compressor up. Just screw it in. It comes with that that, so you can like push it in somewhere, but just leave that there. So that is your air filter that goes in the back of your compressor. When you get that box and you see that, you're not going to have a freaking clue what it is. I'm telling you what it is. It goes in the back of your compressor. Okay. So now you've got your relay. You basically mount your relay here with the hardware provided. 2 bolts. Do not tighten those bolts. Just screw it in there and just leave it so it moves around, okay? So eventually, what you're going to do is it's going to tell you in the instructions to cut a 5 1/4 inch piece of tubing, okay? And the great thing about these fittings is you don't have to screw anything down. It's pull and push and pull. So once you push these in here, it's locked in there. That's it. The only way to get it out is to push these forward. I mean, it's a great setup. You have to put this right angle piece in your tank to make this work. So remember, this has got the tape on it already. So you're going to screw this into the tank really tight, and it's going to automatically have that right angle. So when you see that piece in one of those boxes, that's what it's for. You'll put your hose in, and it basically attaches to that relay just like that. So if you're not sure what to do, just look at this picture. Take a picture of this picture and zoom in on it, and you can see exactly where everything goes. You've got this right angle piece right here. You've got a 5 1/4 inch piece of hose, and that goes right into your relay right there. Now on the other side of your relay, you're going to have this piece right there, which has 4 stems coming out of it. That's going to screw into the other side of this relay, and that's where your lines go. Okay, easy. Just push them right in. Now, something really important that you have to remember is these lines need to be exactly the same size. You don't want to make a hose for here that's 3 inches and a hose for here that's 5 inches, because then this horn is going to sound first, that's going to sound later, and it's going to sound like a circus horn. So remember, when you cut these lines, it's just like taking one, cut it, and then take another section of because it comes in a roll like that. Take another section of it and cut it exactly. So close to exactly. You basically want to have 4 of the exact size, same air lines, so the air is equally going to where it needs to go to, okay? And then you just push them in there. You just push it in there, and you're done. I put a little wire tie up here, otherwise the air lines fall down. You may need to modify that once you put it in your vehicle. But that is how that works, okay? A lot of pictures help a lot of people, so you can see how things go. Don't worry about these wires yet. That's your 4-piece right there. Again, it just pushes in, and that's it. You can't pull them out unless you push those little things in. And then once you get all that set up, then you tighten this down, okay? Please remember to make sure when you tighten this down that it is equal with the unit. You don't want to have this up here so the hose goes like this. It needs to be straight, just like you see it here. So that's why it gives you all that play. It's tight there. You do not, again, I repeat, you do not want to have this so it's at an angle going up. It needs to be straight ahead. So from there, straight ahead, there's your relay going out to the 4 airlines. Leave these wires for later when you do your installation. Okay, that is the basic installation of the Nightmare kit, okay? So eventually I'll have my airline in here. Now the only thing I didn't go over was this right here. Confusing as hell. You want to know why? Because the instructions say look for a gray box. It doesn't tell you exactly what it is or what it does. It doesn't explain it to you. It just says, look for the gray box, install the gray box. Where the frick do you install the freaking gray box at? I don't know. So eventually, and again, at the beginning of the video, I said I might tap that off, which I won't. The tech guy said basically what this is going to do is this is going to screw into there. I've got plenty of clearance, and it's going to sit right in there. This is, I believe, the pressure relief valve, they called it. It's basically if it's got like a spring or something inside there, and it regulates the air that's in the tank. So I don't exactly remember what it does, but that's where it's going to go. So if you see something on the instructions that say, let's see if I can see it in here, look for a gray box. Again, it doesn't show any pictures of this box and what to do or where to go. The pictures are backwards, and they tell you that the pictures are backwards. Okay, the only thing it shows there is that little blue piece, but it doesn't give you an explanation of exactly what it is. So I'm here to help with that. Okay, so this is going to go, and I'm going to thread this into that T right there, and then we're going to wire it up from there. So if you're doing this installation and you're looking for a gray box, don't. Look for the blue box because it's new. And my recommendation is put it right there. And again, this is if you're doing the single tank. If you're doing the dual tank combo, everything is different because you have 2 tanks and your compressor goes in the middle. It's a different bracket setup, etc., etc. So this is just for the single tank. So this is where the blue piece goes. So your wires tell you exactly what it is. You've got your red, which connects to power, and then you've got your white, which you attach to the red of the compressor. Again, it doesn't tell you that 100%, but I'm telling you that now. So red goes to power all the time at your battery somewhere, and it says it right there. It actually has a thing on there that says connect to positive red, but the white says compressor. So what you do is this goes to red, and then the white of this relay goes to the red of the compressor. And then black goes to ground, black here goes to ground, okay? And then that's how that works. Don't be confused by it because it's easily to get confused, okay? And then your blue wire goes to your ignition source. You have to find a switched ignition source in your vehicle so that it comes on when you turn your key on. Whether it's tapping a fuse, whether it's going to the ignition wire, most electrically inclined people know how to find a switched source near your ignition. This goes to your switched source, which you've got to run a big wire all the way up front to your vehicle to find a switched source. Okay? So that's what that is. So the last thing we'll go over is the inflation kit. It comes, if you buy the inflation kit, it comes with a hose with a really, really nice bag actually. And it actually comes with a tire inflation kit, and it comes with this box and absolutely no instructions whatsoever on what to do with it, okay? So I'm here to show you exactly what you're going to do. So this relay that I showed you earlier, your second relay, it's not the relay that has the green, it's this relay. This is your pressure blow-off relay. So when you trigger these 2 wires with power and ground, it's going to open up this relay, your air line's going in there, and that end right here, that end right there, let me get the wires out of the way, that end stays open. Do not, for any reason, close that hole right there, because when you activate this remote, the air is going to blow out of this, and this is how it blows the air out of the system. Normally you would release this valve right here, but that's not what you're going to do. This valve is going to be taken over by a line that's going to go directly to this. So this is going to be mounted somewhere. More than likely I'm going to mount it on the side over here, and then you're going to have a small hose with a fitting that's going to go in there. That hose is going to run and be plugged into that fitting, and that's it. And then you're going to run power and ground to here. So basically when you hook up the switch that it comes with, eventually one of these is going to go to power, one of these is going to go to ground, and you use the switch to integrate it. Now again, this switch, if for anybody that is into electronics, is a very basic switch. You can find really, really good ones at Home Depot or Lowe's in case this one goes bad. They had told me that all the fittings that they get here, all these different fittings, you can easily find all of these at Home Depot. So if you screw something up, run over to Home Depot or Lowe's and you can get the same fittings there. You can get these types of buttons too. So I am actually going to be using a momentary switch instead of this, a toggle momentary switch, because I think this looks too cheap to me. I'm going to be using something different. So again, if you get the electronic air release, it comes with this, it comes with hose, it comes with this, okay? So eventually this fitting right here that it comes with is going to go in there, okay? And then the line is going to plug into there, and then the line's going to go directly from there into the side of that relay, and that's it. And every single time you open up that trigger with your switch, it's going to blow the air out. Now, what's the purpose behind that? The purpose behind that is if you're driving around, what's the reason of having a fully compressed tank of air all the time? If you know you're going to use your horn or you think you're going to be using it, fill it up. But if you're not using it, you don't think you're going to be using it, you can always just hit that button and you can release it. The point behind that is eventually you use this so much that you get water in your tank. For anybody that knows about compressors, you're going to get water in your tank. If you forget about it, your water sits in your tank, it rusts your tank, it degrades the air in there. Oh yeah, I forgot. I have to go in there and I have to turn that damn valve and let it all air out. You sit there for 20 minutes while it leaks out all the water in the air. Screw that. Get the air release. You're in your truck, you hit a button and you do it automatically. It's a lot easier for the money. Okay, so that is the basics of this system. Again, it is not difficult if you are mechanically inclined and you watch my video, because the instructions, you cannot physically do this by yourself with the instructions. It is impossible. I watched multiple YouTube videos and not one of them is 100% detailed that will show you every little thing. It'll show you how it's installed. It'll show you how they ran the wire, how they kind of put things together, but nobody has done a detailed installation video about how this piece goes together. And I pray and hope that this will help you install your Hornblaster kit once you get it, because it's really, really difficult, as I've said a million times, to do this by the instructions. It is next to impossible. When you get the air relocation kit, there's not a page in there that tells you what to do. It comes with this right here, okay? It comes with that. But then if you open it up, it says, do that. But that is not the way you do it because you don't know where all your holes are going to go and you don't know how to run everything, okay? So it's there, but it's not user-friendly. Me telling you how to do this is the most user-friendly video for this kit that I think you're ever going to find, because I'm real detailed when it comes to showing you every last little thing, okay? So again, just to recap, very, very quick recap, is you have your bracket. You put your feet on your bracket initially. You turn your bracket over. You mount your horns using the provided bolts that come in one of the bags that you have to find, or it might be attached to here. You put your L brackets on, or your L, whatever you call them, your air things on, and you've got that done, okay? Once that's done, put your take your compressor, put your air filter onto your compressor, screw it in, mount your compressor down with the screws that come in one of the bags. Be careful using that screw because you can't get to it with a normal screwdriver. Mount that down, leave this empty, leave it out. Take your compressor, put your compressor together, put your fitting, your L fitting in your compressor right there. Put your gauge on the other side. Make sure that you always use some type of Teflon tape that comes with the kit, or you can use something like Megalock from Home Depot or Lowe's. Same kind of thing, but this is better. I just prefer this. Once you have that in there, put your, remember what it called it? It called it a run tee, which I don't know what the hell that means. That's a run tee. Put it in there, use some of your blue stuff or whatever, mount it in there so it's facing this way. You see how it's facing this way? It's facing towards the horns because your air line is eventually going to come around, go through here, and it's going to plug into that run tee. Okay? That's what you do with that. Once that's done, take your relay, put your relay in there loose, put your fittings in there, cut a piece of 5 1/4 inch hose, which it tells you in the instructions, push it in there, screw in the 4 thingy-do there, screw it in there, and then once you actually have everything perfectly straight, mount this down solid. Take your airlines, cut your airlines to where they are exactly the same size, and then just push them in, push them in all 4, tie them up so they're out of the way, and you're done. Very, very simple if you watch a good video, okay? That is going to be for my auxiliary air, which comes with a line like this. I put a fitting on it, which comes with it already. You see how it's got that stuff on the end already? I still put some of my stuff on. That's going to go in there, and that's going to run to my auxiliary line where I'm going to put a chuck in so I have additional air. Take your blue box, not your gray box, and put it right on the end of that right there. Not on the end there, on the end there. Screw it in there, and you're done. And then take your air blow-off stuff, take your drain valve out, put this in and run your thing over to your other relay over there like I showed earlier, and always make sure that you have your emergency release valve there. That way if you overpressure yourself, this way it'll blow out. Okay? That's what you got. Okay? Hopefully that explains to you exactly how to put this together. It's very easy if you have a good video. I hope and pray that this video helps you. Again, my name is David Fierstein. I own PowercallSirens.com. I have a 2019 Silverado SCA Performance truck, which is my blessing, which is my beautiful truck. It's 6 inches up in the air, and hopefully this will be an awesome addition to my truck. And then once I get it in there, I'll kind of show you how I put it in there so you kind of get an idea how it goes in. You can watch that video later. We'll make another video once we're installing it. Wiring is pretty basic for somebody that's done wiring, but I'll go over the basics with you when we do this at the truck. This is the 244 Nightmare Edition train horn with the spare tire delete for full-size pickups and trucks. I hope this video helped you. Hit the like button if you like it. Give me a thumbs up. Share it with all your friends. Share it with hashtag Hornblaster. Hopefully this helped the people that are trying to put this together. Great company, great customer service, great product. Just need to work on the instructions a little bit. Take care, guys. Hope this helped you out. Have a great day. Be safe. Take care.